Hey guys, the Bachmann SD70ACe is finally here, so we're going to do a little review of it today. We'll cover the basic stuff like the detail, sound, running, and anything else that I think is important to note. And then at the end of the video I should have some run-by clips of it, and I think that's about it, so I guess we'll get started now. The first thing that I want to show you, I'll just get that out of the way, is the packaging. I know no one likes that, but it just comes in a normal plastic cradle. That's nothing out of the ordinary. And then all the Bachmann sound value equipped locomotives come in this red box. And then you have all the paperwork inside, which is just the standard warranty sound guide and I think parts diagram. That's basically all you get there. And now that we have that out of the way, I think we'll just look at the details really quick. I'll check out the front of the locomotive, then we'll go down the sides, the end, and then also check out the roof. So looking at the front, you can see that it is well detailed. I mean, it's probably the most detailed locomotive that Bachmann's produced in a long while, at least in the diesel line. They do a lot of very nice steam locomotives, but they don't really have a highly detailed diesel locomotive yet. So this is kind of the reintroduction into the detailed plastic diesel market. They have introduced their sound line recently, which this is a part of, but this is their first complete retool and new mold, it seems. So very nice locomotive for the first run. And as you can see on the pilot, you have MU cables, MU hoses, which are defined and they're separately applied. So you can see the hoses themselves are separate from each other. It's not like they're molded together or molded to the pilot. They don't have the silver tip that you'd find on other manufacturers, but they represent MU air hoses really well. You can also see that there's a coupler cut bar here. That's nice. It does have the tip that is colored for the end handrails. And then the MU cable, you should note, is blue, and that is prototypically correct. That's just the way that the SD70ACes came. It also has kind of an offset appearance. I think that's just the way that these locomotives have their MU cables placed. And then on the top of the pilot, we have handrails, which are nice and sturdy. They're flexible, but sturdy, and it seems like they won't break. The chain between the two middle stanchions is painted silver, so that's a nice touch. And then the ditch lights here are also very nice. They're pretty scale. They look a little chunky from front to back, but other than that, it seems like their dimensions are there. And then the other thing to note about the ditch lights is that they are not operational, and we'll get into it a little more later when we look at the operation and lighting. But as I said, they do not operate, but I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to add that to this model. And then on the nose here, the main thing that I bet people will point out and criticize is that the grab irons are just molded on, so it does give it kind of a not very detailed appearance on the nose, but other than that, it really looks good. I know that people probably won't like that, but it does look fine from a distance. You can see that they are placed accurately. They are where they should be, and they're pretty well defined, so I don't think it's like they didn't have them at all. So it still looks fine, and if you really wanted to, you could probably add grab irons. The other thing to show you is that they are separately applied on the top of the nose, so you can see around the sand fill hatches and towards the right of the door on top of the nose there are separately applied grab irons. And then it looks like they actually did do the research. You can see there is a headlight blanking plate that is kind of raised up. You can see that there, and then also a padlock box which is just above that plate on the top of the nose there. So that is accurately, it's right there to the right of the door, that is accurately depicted on this model, which is kind of a nice little touch for people who really know a lot about the Norfolk Southern prototype details. So that's nice. And then you can see the cab windshields are nicely in place. They don't protrude or anything, and they're also nicely glazed, so it's not like they're really chunky and sit back deep into the cab. It allows there to be a cab interior as well, so there's a cab interior that looks nice, and then the windshield wipers also look nice. They're a little chunkier than you'd have with etched metal windshield wipers, but I actually like the appearance they give. Personally, I probably prefer these over the etched metal ones, because with etched metal windshield wipers, they're super thin, and they're usually just silver, which isn't what the prototype windshield wipers are actually colored. Most of them are painted black, and it seems like you can see them better on prototypes, and part of that's just because of the natural lighting, but when it's on a model, I kind of want to be able to see that the windshield wipers are there, because it gives it a characteristic appearance. So I think the fact that these are plastic isn't such a bad thing. The headlight is also very nice. You can see there are number boards. Those are also not lit, but I'm not sure of any models that really include that. I think the MTH might, but they're kind of an outlier. And then on the top of the cab, we have the PTC, or the leader PTC antenna array, which is just found on the Norfolk Southern SD70ACes. It does have some Sinclair iSkate antennas. They're not really detailed, they're just kind of bars, but those look okay. You also have the main antenna dome going down the middle, and that's well depicted as well. And then I think that's all that's right there, really. Then the side cab windows are nice. You can see there is the grooving that's characteristic of the late model SD70ACe. So you have this bar running along the bottom of the cab windows, and then towards the back of the cab there. That's on the model. The equipment box doors are also defined pretty well, and then there is a sunshade, which is nice as well. Looking at the trucks, you can see they are detailed. If you step back here, there aren't any sand lines coming from like outside the truck. We just have the main sand lines that are set on the truck here. So right near the front and rear axles on each truck, you can see there is a little line leading to the sand line. So that's depicted, which is nice as well. Moving back, one of the prototype details that Athearn advertised a lot was this bolt-on door here for the equipment box or electrical panel area, and you can see that that's also depicted here. I think before it was a door or something, but now it's just a panel that bolts on and off, and I think on the prototype you could just pull that right off and then you'd have to bolt it back on. So that's on there as well. Moving along, you can see that the fuel tank is detailed pretty well. Both air tanks are well defined, and then you have the fuel shutoff and fuel level gauges there. The rear truck is the same as the front, as you can see. You do have all the brake equipment under there, and all the air cylinders where they should be, so that looks good. Oh, and the other thing to note is that the jacking pad is also right above the truck on both ends and both sides, so that's nice. And then moving back, the brake wheel is nice. I think it's a little larger than on others, but it does look good, and it's the 3-spoke brake wheel, which is also on the later model SD70ACes. And then right here we have the louvers, which are just below the dynamic brake fan, and then the grill here, which is by the or below the dynamic brake area, which is not see-through, but it does look nice. And then on top, one of the main areas is the radiator section, and you can see that the fans are see-through to an extent. You don't really see any fan detail under them, but they do look good. And then the dynamic brake fan grill is not see-through, but it is well depicted with the spokes and rings going around it. So I think it's, besides the fact that it's not see-through, it's pretty nice, I think. And then you'll also notice that there aren't any grab irons on top here, like there are on some others. And then the the horn is well defined and doesn't look oversized or anything, so that's good. Let me really quick flip this model around and we'll take a look at the back and the other side. So the back of the model is kind of another interesting area. It's pretty much got the same detail as the front. You can see the grab irons running along the left side of the long hood here. Those are also molded on, and then the grills on the back right in the middle, those are not see-through, but they do look nice. They're recessed into the body, so it does give a kind of darkened look, so you can tell they're grills. The handrails back here are the same as the front. You can see the chain across the 2mm stanchions is painted silver. We have rear ditch lights that do not operate, but at least they do have the rear ditch lights, which is accurate for Norfolk Southern. And then the MU hoses and cables are all there. The one thing that's probably missing, or the one thing that is missing on this model, and the only thing that I've noticed so far, is that the left MU hoses are missing. I didn't find them in the box or anything, so I don't know what happened, but so far that's the only thing that's missing, and I bet that's not a recurring issue, so I wouldn't worry about that if you got this model as well. It's not like they got the paint scheme wrong, it's just the detail happened to fall off, so that's kind of unfortunate, but it'll be really easy to replace, so I wouldn't worry about that. And then over here, the detail's all the same. The only thing that's really different is the equipment, or the inverter box over here, so you can see the two main louvers running from left to right are pretty defined. They're not see-through again, or metal or anything. It's just molded into the side, but it does look good, and I think it represents it well enough, so that's good. And then the other thing is that there isn't a equipment box back here for the ECP equipment. On the other Heritage unit models that is modeled there, it is not here, but it seems like they got most of the other things correct for these models. And I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to add that. You just need a little styrene and a few other details, and then paint it black and it would look fine. And then you can see there is a line running on top of the tank, and then it comes out on the end there, so that's separately applied and pretty detailed as well. So I think that's it for the details. Hopefully I covered everything. I'll just do a quick scan by so you can look at the any details that I happen to miss. I really like the way it looks personally. It's not the most detailed of the models offered, but it's still up there. I think it competes with MTH. There are some features that it obviously doesn't have, and we'll get more into that when we get to the lighting and sound. But the main detail is there, and obviously it does look like an SD70ACe. The proportions and dimensions look correct. I know a lot of people have commented on the fact that some of the MTH dimensions are kind of off, but if you look at the cab of this model, it looks really good. I like the way the windows look, and yeah, I think that's all the details. So let me turn this around and then we'll take a look at the sound. Before we get to the sound though, I forgot to mention the paint scheme. That was going to be included in the detail, but I totally spaced it. But you can see the paint scheme is pretty well done. The paint separation is okay. There are a few places where it's not the greatest, but obviously if you step back, there's no way you'll be able to tell. They got a lot of the paint details correct. You can see there's a little decal right here, which looks really good. And then also on the walkway there are a few warning decals. You have the letter F here, noting that that's the front end for anyone who would mistake that for the rear end. I don't know why, but they have that. You can see there are more warning decals here, also along the bottom. The orange seems to be the correct color. Blue is very deep and looks nice. And then you can see the walkways here. Those are painted kind of a graphite color, as well as the top of the nose and the top of the long hood there. And that's just an anti-skid material, I believe. But they did model that accurately. So now we will actually take a look at the sound. Alright, so this model is equipped with an Bachmann sound value decoder, which is basically just a soundtracks decoder that's kind of toned down. It doesn't have all the sound functions that you'd get in a full-blown sound decoder, so I think a lot of the auxiliary functions that you'd get, like the air compressor and coupler clash, are not included, but you do have the 4 main sounds, which would be the horn, bell, prime mover, and dynamic brake. So those are all on the locomotive, and you'll notice as I start the locomotive up that there is no startup sequence. It just goes straight into the idle, which is another feature that's not included with the sound value decoder. So I will fire it up and we'll take a look at a few of the sounds. So you can hear the prime mover. It is the correct EMD 710 diesel. It sounds good. I haven't really had a chance to compare it to the SD70ACe model from Athearn, but it does sound good. It doesn't seem like there's any speaker baffle issues or anything, and it's pretty clear, and the volume's good as well. So really quick, we'll just look at it. I'll do a few of the sounds here, and then I'll do a little comparison to the SD70ACe from Athearn. So there's the idle. We'll do the horn really quick. So it does have the K5 LLA, which is accurate for this model, and it sounds pretty clear. And then the E-bell is also included, and that's also accurate. And then here's the dynamic brake. And you'll notice that the dynamic brake noise is actually just kind of their generic noise that they use in a lot of their models. When we take a look at the Athearn model in just a second, you'll notice that the dynamic brake noise is a lot higher pitched, which is probably more accurate for these models, but at least they included it and it sounds okay. So. Here's a quick run by. Alright, so now we'll do a quick comparison with the Athearn model, and then we'll look at the running. So this is just a sound comparison. Obviously you'll note that it's not the same paint scheme, and this is a little older model than this Bachmann locomotive, but I just want to show you some of the sounds and compare them to the Bachmann model that I have here. So you can hear, there's the idle. You'll notice that the radiator fans come on automatically, so you can kind of hear a hum. And that's one difference that you don't get with a sound value decoder. So I'll let you listen to the idle really quick. We'll go through the horn and bell, dynamic brake, and then do a quick run by like I did with the Bachmann locomotive. Alright, so the next thing we'll check out is the lighting and performance of the model. There's really not much to show of the lighting. As I said, the ditch lights do not function, so basically the headlight comes on, you can see it's not that bright. It's actually brighter on the back, it's just the way that the LED feeds through the lenses there. So if you look at the right angle, it's a lot brighter, but it actually looks pretty good. And I think it's fine that it doesn't have ditch lights. You can always add those later. But if that bothers you, then you probably want to get the MTH or Athearn model. And then I'll show you actually when the headlight's on. Oddly enough, the rear headlight stays on as a dim, and then when it reverses, it goes into the bright. So if you're going forward, both headlights are on except the front is bright and the rear is dim, and vice versa. So if you're going reverse, which I am right now, the rear headlight's fully on and the front headlight is dim. So that's kind of interesting. I haven't really found out if I could reprogram that, but I think it's fine as it is now. And then I guess we'll check out the performance really quick. I have an NCE system here, and you can see, I'll keep it in the screen, so then when I throttle up, you'll see where it starts. Right now, this is just out of the box. I haven't broken it in or anything, so this might get fixed as we run it a little more. But you can see I'm at 5, 6. So at speed step 7, it starts to move, which is actually better than it was a few minutes ago. I think it only started at speed step 12 a little bit ago, so, and then from there it's actually pretty smooth, so. That's 15 right there. Sorry about that. So there you can kind of see the headlight. It's still on in reverse, and then you'll see when I switch directions here, it comes on bright. So let me run it back for you real quick. It's a pretty smooth runner though, so I like it. Now I'll turn off the sound really quick for you so you can hear just the model as it runs by. I'll get it to like speed step 10 or something, and then you can listen for the motor noise that comes from it. So it's actually very quiet. So you can't really hear anything when it's running. It makes a bit of noise as it starts up just because of the voltage change, but let me change directions here. So there you can see here, there's a little bit, but really when the sound's on you can hear almost nothing, so it's very smooth. Alright, so that about wraps it up for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the review, and I hope that I also covered everything that you were looking for. I'm sure there are a few things that I left out, but I hope as I went along the locomotive you were able to pick up most of the detail on your own, and then kind of get your own opinion about the locomotive. Personally, I really like it. I'm glad I got it. In the past I've been kind of disappointed with Bachmann products, just because it looked like they had the detail but they really didn't run well. Or something like that. But this model, it has pretty good detail, and all I was looking for is that it appeared like an SD70ACe, and it just looked like one in general. So I don't care that some of the details aren't there, like the grab irons on the front. The fact those are molded on doesn't bother me. As I said, I just wanted this model, and the Bachmann one looks nice to me. I wanted to try it out and see how it was, and I'm impressed with the locomotive. Obviously, if you're going for detail, you'll probably want to go with the Athearn model. If you're going for functionality, MTH probably wins out on that too. But this Bachmann gives you another option by introducing this locomotive. So I'm glad that they made it. I'm happy with the locomotive, and hopefully, as I said, you enjoyed the review and were able to formulate your own opinion. So I think that's it. And thank you for watching. And remember that I'll have more videos soon. If you watched my last video, I kind of talked about the layout extension. I'm going to have more on that. And before I end, I will do a few run-bys of this locomotive with my Norfolk Southern ES40 DC. So hang around just a couple more minutes and you'll be able to see it running around the layout. Thanks.